A Minnesota bank settles with a black man accused of trying to cash a fake paycheck. Joe Morrow, a black grocery store worker, was arrested and handcuffed after attempting to cash his paycheck at a U.S. bank in Minnesota last year. Morrow was pulled into the bank manager's office where the manager said, "Joe Morrow, your check is fake. You people always coming in here with fake checks." Police were called. Morrow was handcuffed and escorted out in front of other customers. Get this, Morrow had identification, pay stubs, and an account with the bank. The bank's CEO has apologized and says the company is adjusting its training programs so an incident like this never happens again. Training programs? How about firing program? I mean, somebody should have gotten a trip right to the unemployment line for that one. But what the hell is going on in Minnesota? Now, this story here about Joe Morrow, a grocery store worker, going in to cash a check at a bank that he has an account in. He has his payroll sort of stub. He has his ID. He works, let's just be honest, he works at a grocery store. That was not $1 million check, y'all. Okay, I think it's safe to say that, okay?
$900.
Thank you. I mean, it's not like he was asking for all the money they had in the damn bank, you know? And what the heck is going on that the minute he just goes about his normal business, just trying to cash his paycheck that he invested hours into earning, all of a sudden he's pulled in the back with this manager accused of, in essence, being a thief, handcuffed, hauled out there to great embarrassment in front of everybody else that's there. And the only thing that the bank CEO can say that they need to adjust their training programs, what the hell is going on in Minnesota? I don't know whether this is Minnesota or Alabama. Is it one and the same? What do you think, Doc?
It's scary. And as somebody who does diversity, equity, and inclusion trainings across the country, this is not the type of stuff that you're just going to teach and it's just going to change. As was said in the comments when he was in the bank and one of the audios or something to the effect of, you all do this all of the time. So in terms of trying to cash these checks, so they've already established that this is common practice for them to view us with suspicion. And so really at the end of the day, I'm so happy for this settlement. We don't know how much it is, but it's when people get hit, as Johnny Cochran said, when people get hit in their pocketbooks, that's when their hearts and minds will follow. And really at the end of the day, we need to see more of these lawsuits. It's a shame what happened, but I can guarantee that they're going to have something that's going to happen in that company that's going to make sure that this isn't going to happen on a regular basis again. But unfortunately, it's not because they're going to believe that racism is wrong, but because they don't want to pay out these fees. But whatever it takes for us to be able to walk in and walk out with some dignity for accounts that we have at this same bank, I hope he's looking at a different bank, maybe a black bank right now. I don't know. But, there should be some other people who should be closing their accounts there as well.
Absolutely. And when you think about people reverting back to behavior, I think about it as it's not just them reverting back to actual behavior that they've sort of created habits out of just in terms of muscle memory. To me, it's about behavior that's related to perceptions, behavior related to assumptions, behavior related to what your mind thinks and perceives as a threat, a physical threat, or either some sort of criminal activity, that when you see this black man, be it in a bank or be it in his car, just trying to not get a ticket, all of a sudden, your brain goes to the farthest, most extreme interpretation of the situation that leaves one man dead and another man being paraded out like a criminal when all he's trying to do is to make money for his family and be able to feed his family in a legal way in which all of us look to do. Right, Rev?
Yeah, I think y'all are touching on some really important points. And I've got 5 kids, and I've got them from 26 down to 10. So I try to stay in touch with the nomenclature, the words that people use in this day and age. If I had to use a millennial word, I would say this situation with the bank is a little bit triggering for me. And it's making me feel some kind of way. If I were to use that terminology, I think all of us have had that experience. That experience of having to be questioned, right, Doc Davis? You've had that experience,
We've
right?
been followed around stores, and it's really interesting how it changes, for me at least, at different points in your life. So when you're younger, they're following you around the store because they think you're trying to steal something, like as if you can't afford to be there. And then when you're older, they follow you around the store because they assume you work there. No, I don't work here, ma'am.
Right.
I can't tell you where you can find that because I don't work here. Either way, it's the assumption that you can't be there as a regular customer like somewhere else, anyone else. And so this is just probably one of the most extreme and most humiliating ways in which something like this can go down.
And it may not be extreme. I think about when we think about what happens in the Deep South or south of the Mason-Dixon line. I'm reminded of something I believe it was Malcolm X said. Said anything south of Canada is the
That's right.
Mason-Dixon. So when you're thinking about this,
Yep.
and I'm in Nashville, Tennessee, and I remember I was 19 years old. True story. I was 19 years old. I've been through the required black man training of how and when to drive by my father and fathers before him. I was working my way through college at Tennessee State, and I was 19. I was working overnight at the Crystal Restaurant down the street from my house on the main strip. And I took a break at 3 o'clock in the morning so that I could go get some gas in this old Cordoba that I was driving, my dad's car. I took a break to go get the gas because I knew that when I got off at 7 o'clock in the morning, I was going to immediately go to my 8 o'clock class. We were poor working class folks, so we just had to put in the work that we needed to do and do whatever we needed to do to be successful. But long story short, I remember pulling out of the parking lot of the Crystal and seeing a police officer, Berry Hill police officer, right across the street, the gas station. And before I made it past the next light, he had been right behind me, bumper to bumper, following me at 25 miles an hour. And when I say that, you say that in mixed company, and people say, "Oh my God, that doesn't really happen, does it?" And you just kind of say, "I'm going to continue the story." But you get to the point where those blue lights come on.
Mm-hmm.
And those blue lights don't mean, "Oh, wow, what's wrong?" The blue lights mean, "Uh-oh, let me go to 10 and
Yep.
2.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to 10 and 2 and pulled over. And all of us are human beings. This epidermal layer, this skin thing, it's a social construct that we made up. So we all naturally have the same responses. And I always tell people there's an inner white man in me that
Mm.
exists. And he speaks out loud sometimes, and I have to suppress him and remind him that the outer man is a black man. So when I get pulled over and the officer comes up
Right.
and shines this spotlight on me, the inner white man in me screams, "What the hell do you want, Chief?" But the black man in me who has filtered this says, "Can I help you, officer?
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing out here?"
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Absolutely.
I'm going to get some gas. Uh, why are you out so late? The inner white man said, "Why are you out so late, Barney Fife?" But the black
Mm.
man in me says, "I'm just going to get some gas. I'm at work and I'm taking a break." He says, "Where do you work?" He shines a spotlight on me. I have a brown pair of crystal pants on, a shirt with Crystal Restaurant on it, a name tag with the Crystal logo, and a visor with
Wow.
Crystal on it. And again, the white guy in me wants to say, 2 blocks right there at the Crystal. Can't you see what I got on? But the brother in me says, "I work at the Crystal." Which one? Without moving my hands
Wow.
from the steering wheel. 'Cause on the Congo, right?
Mm.
Move your hands from the
Yes,
steering
sir.
wheel. You take a chair,
Yes,
right?
sir.
Mm-hmm.
You take so
Yes,
I,
sir.
I nod. I say the one behind me there. If I call there, will they verify it?
Wow.
Wow.
So you can just walk in the
Yes,
store and
sir.
get a full Crystal uniform, apparently.
Apparently, I don't know
Right.
where they selling crystal outfits at 3 o'clock in the morning. So he said, "Okay, let me have your license." Do you know this man went back and to his car? He not only called my license and saw no problems, but he called the restaurant and the manager and verified that I worked there. He came back to the car, handed me my license, and he said, "Be careful."
Mm.
And I drove to the gas station with that feeling of powerlessness, but at the same time that weird feeling of gratitude
Mm.
that somehow I had reached that accomplishment that we reached of dodging the bullet, that I would see my family again, that I would grow up and get married and have kids, and I would finish college, and I was a step closer to that. And that's a feeling many people don't have. But when you go into that space where you go into a bank, the stereotype is you don't want to work, so you get a job and you get a paycheck. Well, we don't believe that this is your paycheck. We're going to handcuff you. I am celebrating the small victory that the brother got from the undisclosed settlement. I'm also celebrating all of us, men and women, who every single day have to navigate to a space where we're concerned when those blue lights come on, if we're going to make it and be able to see the next day. Each little victory counts.
Absolutely. Totally agree.
Back to that Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment.
Once upon a time, there lived a princess with really long hair who was waiting for a prince to come save her. But really, who has time for that?
Let's go. Feeling myself. I'm feeling
She ordered herself a ladder with Prime one-day delivery, and she was out of there.
I want some hood girls looking back at it and a good girl in my tax bracket.
Now, her hairdressing empire is killing it. And the prince? Well, who cares? Prime changes everything.
Time to be smart.
Roland Martin's doing this every day.
Oh, no punches!
Thank you, Roland Martin, for always giving voice to the issues.
Look for Roland Martin in the whirlwind, to quote Marcus Garvey again.
The video looks phenomenal, so I'm really excited to see it on my big screen.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
I got to defer to the brilliance of Dr. Carr and to the brilliance of the Black Star Network.
I am rolling with Roland all the way.
Honored to be on a show that you own. A black man owns the show.
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
I'm real revolutionary right now. Roland was amazing on there.
Stay black. I love y'all.
I can't commend you enough about this platform that you've created for us to be able to share who we are, what we're doing in the world, and the impact that we're having.
Let's be smart. Bring your eyeballs home.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared. You dig?